Hello everyone, my name is Keely. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. And I honestly don't think I have ever been more excited for a video than I am for this one, because I am going to be reading my most anticipated book releases of the year. And it just so happened that all three of these books came out right around the same time, and so I'm just getting like slapped in the face with all of my anticipated books. And I'm so excited about all three of these, obviously, but they are also three books from like my favorite authors of all time. So I'm just gonna go right into it and tell you about the books. The first one is Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. This is her newest romance novel. I believe it's another STEMinist novel. If not, she is a business girly, so something along the lines of that. But I love Ali Hazelwood so much. Her last release, Bride, was not my favorite, but her last like actual romance STEMinist novel, Love Theoretically, was one of my favorite books of all time, so I'm really excited to get to this one. This next book, I feel like I'm already gonna cry just thinking that it's in my hands right now, and that is A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. Now, if you don't know, her other two books, Dead Romantics and The 7-Year Slip, mean so incredibly much to me. They healed trauma in me that I didn't even know needed healing, so I am already so here for this. I'm pretty sure it follows a woman who gets sucked into a book of hers, something like that, but her romance books always have a little magical twist and element to it, and I'm really interested to see if this one's also dealing with grief like her other two books, because that is one of my favorite parts about her books. But I just know I'm going to love it. And the last one I have here is Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. So we have two romances and then a thriller, but for me, Riley Sager can do no wrong. I know a lot of people have very strong opinions about him, and I also have a strong opinion about him, meaning he is the greatest of all time and nobody can top him. I just love Riley Sager so much. He is honestly the best writer like ever. His writing is just so captivating and atmospheric, and I can picture everything perfectly. And this is actually his first male main character, which I'm a little scared of because I love his female main character so much. So I'm still so interested in it, and also this cover is iconic. So I'm actually going to be starting with Middle of the Night first. I've been reading a lot of romance, so I'm in the mood right now for this thriller, and I just feel like I cannot wait a second longer to read a Riley Sager book. This actually came out while I was on vacation, and my pre-order was at home, and I was like 12 states away, so I couldn't get it, but it is in my hands now, and I just know I'm going to fly through all of these books, but we're starting with this one. First of all, look at my new Alice Cullen t-shirt that I got in Forks, Washington. I love it. Second of all, I've made it 100 pages into Middle of the Night, and I can now give you a synopsis and making sure it's no spoilers. So we follow this man, Ethan Marsh, and 30 years ago, he was having a camp out, a little sleepover with his best friend Billy in Ethan's backyard, when that night Ethan woke up the next morning and the tent had been slashed and Billy was gone. Now it's 30 years later. Billy's disappearance is still a mystery. Ethan can't remember what happened that night. He says that he hadn't heard anything or he didn't see anything, but he is riddled with guilt and insomnia. And now 30 years later, he is moving back into his childhood home, and weird occurrences are happening in the middle of the night that kind of hint at Billy's appearance. So that's all I'm going to say. This is, like I said, Riley Sager's first male main character, and I just miss his female main character so much. I love those girlies. But this one, I am so intrigued with the mystery. There are so many questions that have already arisen in the first 100 pages, and so many things that I know are going to unravel in the most unhinged way. I wouldn't say that I am as sucked in as some of his other books, like as I was as quickly as those ones. That was a lot of weird jumbled words together, but I am still definitely intrigued, and I know I'm just gonna keep getting hooked more and more and more as we find out more, because I know Ethan and all of his old childhood friends are also getting together and they're trying to figure out what happened to Billy, because still nobody knows what happened. And it's also kind of weird that Ethan doesn't remember anything from that night and he slept through it all apparently. So I am very curious, very intrigued, and we'll see how it goes, because there's so many mysteries, so many secrets that I'm like, that's suspicious. What's going on here? But yes, 100 pages in. I will be reading more today because it's only about noon, 12:30-ish. So I'll definitely be reading more, and I'm just so excited to be reading more Riley Sager. Like, as I'm reading this, I'm just like, wow, I can't believe I'm reading more Riley Sager. But yeah, continuing with that later today. And I have several videos to edit. I have my vacation vlog to edit. I have a book shopping vlog to edit. Oh, I'm about to film, I forgot about that. I have to film my June wrap up and edit that as well. And I still have a lot of vacation pictures to edit. If you are curious at all about my vacation, like I said, I will have an entire vlog about it, but also go check out my Instagram because I have a whole highlight for that and I'm posting pictures throughout. But I am so excited to continue with all of these books. So I just got done running and working out. So this is what you're gonna get, just deal with it. But I'm about to sit down and read some more of Middle of the Night. So I wanted to update you before I get further in because I am halfway through. Yesterday I read to page 172, and this book I feel like is definitely a lot slower than his other books, but that does not mean that I'm bored. I'm still really intrigued and I honestly have no idea how this is gonna play out. But I just know that Riley Sager is going to bring the most unhinged plot twist like he usually does. And so I know that right now it's just like, okay, I'm just along for the ride because this is going in a direction that I wasn't really expecting, I feel like. There's still so many secrets that are slowly starting to unravel and I am so curious about so many things, and I feel like people are starting to get really suspicious. There are places that are really fascinating and some probably secrets involved, and I really do like our main character Ethan. I feel really bad for him and I completely understand where he's coming from in all aspects of his life because he is not doing great right now, but I fully am like team Ethan. I believe him, and I also really like about him that whenever he like comes across something and he's like, okay, this is weird, I understand this is weird, nobody's gonna believe me, he still tells people. Like, he doesn't hide it, and if he thinks that's the answer, he's gonna tell people. And I really like that about him because I'm not constantly like, just tell someone, because he does. So I'm still really enjoying it. This feels very different than Riley Sager's other books though, and maybe it's just because it is a male main character, I'm not sure, but I also think it does have to do with the pacing as well. But as always, I am enjoying the writing and the atmosphere, and I know things are about to go off the rails in this second half. Have you ever read a plot twist so good you just start crying? I'm not even gonna tell you what part I'm at in the book because I don't want you to know, but I read it and immediate tears just came to my eyes. Not because it was like terribly sad or anything. I was just like, that was so good. Riley Sager. I literally put the book down, I gasped out loud, and I just started crying because the plot twist caught me off guard. Like, I didn't even see it coming. I didn't even think of that. Like, that's how you know it's good, when you just start tearing up automatically because of how good it is. So yesterday I finished Middle of the Night, and I really, really enjoyed it. However, it is not one of my top favorite books of his, but again, the ending of this is just so good, and I don't even think this is one of his craziest books. Like, there were not nearly as many twists as there usually are in his books, which was totally fine. The final two twists in this book I completely guessed early on, but that one twist where I came in and it made me tear up didn't even cross my mind. Like, and I feel like it wasn't even that shocking, but the way that it happened and the way it was revealed, I was like, I was not expecting that, and it made me tear up because it was just so good. This book also deals a lot with grief, and I love grief in my books, and it was just so good because you really, really felt for the characters, especially Ethan. Ethan was a fantastic character because he simply did not care if people thought he was crazy. He was going to tell them the truth and what he thought was actually happening, and he was just going through this journey, like this grief journey throughout the entire story because of 30 years ago, his best friend Billy, and it has clearly impacted his entire life. And so I really loved that you could feel what he was going through the entire time. And I don't know if I've ever cried at the end of a thriller, not because of sadness, but because of wholesomeness. The ending of this was just so beautiful in a way and so good that I actually cried because I was like, that's so heartwarming. And I don't know if that's ever happened before. Now, this book is also kind of like a slight detective, investigative, mystery thriller, so I don't know if a lot of people will like that because I know that's a big turnoff for some people. I love it, and like I said, I feel like this is very different from his other books, so I don't know how this is going to be received like worldwide, but I still enjoyed it. It's not a new favorite of his, so I gave it 4 stars, and I'm just glad that I actually enjoyed it. Good morning. It has been about a week since I last did this vlog because I participated in Summerween, and yesterday Summerween ended and I actually did vlog that, so go and watch it because I read 7 books in 7 days. So last night after Summerween, and I was like, I've read 7 books in 7 days, I'm just gonna sit down and chill. So I decided to pick up a novel love story, and I was like, I'm probably not gonna read that much of it because, you know, I've been reading a lot. I read half of this. Last night I read half of this and I'm on page 177, and I did not want to read that much last night because I was like, I need to update y'all, and I was going to update y'all at 100 pages, but I just could not stop reading. And I don't know why I was so surprised. It's Ashley Poston. Of course I couldn't put it down. But let me give you a synopsis of this. So we follow a woman named Elsie, and Elsie is a part of this romance book club that every year they go and kind of do this book club retreat where they stay in a cabin, they read books, and they just have a lot of fun. This year, nobody can make it except for Elsie, so she decides, I'm gonna go by myself. On the way there, she kind of gets stuck in this very small town, and the next morning when she wakes up, she realizes this small town is the town from her favorite romance series. All the characters that she loves and knows are in this town. So this town might not be so fictional after all, but nobody in the town knows that they are a part of a book series. So the thing is, I have seen so many negative reviews about this book. I've seen people DNF it, say that it was the worst one yet, and you know what? If you are happily married, this book is not for you, all right? So just, I'm happy for you, but this book is not for you. This is for the girlies who always thought that they would be married by now and want nothing more than to be married, but nobody has chosen them and they feel a little broken for it. That's who this book is for. This book is for me. Sorry, this book is not for you. I'm glad you're married. Like, that's great. But this book is not for you. And Elsie is so relatable because she was in that relationship where she thought, this is gonna end in marriage. This is gonna be my happily ever after. And when he left her, she just felt broken. And like, why is everybody else getting their happily ever afters and I'm stuck here alone? And oh my gosh, if I cannot relate to that, wow, I'm 28 years old and that's how I feel. I feel like everybody has moved on. Everybody has started getting married, having kids, having their own home, and I still live with my parents. Like, and that's totally okay, but there does come days where you're like, am I broken? And is there something wrong with me? And that's how Elsie feels. And I just love that so much. And I wondered at the beginning, you know, in the intro, if this would also have a topic of grief like her other books, and it kind of does, but it's not the type of grief where somebody dies. It's the type of grief where somebody chooses to leave you. And so she's struggling with that, which again is so relatable. So if you're happily married, you might not understand that, especially if you met your spouse really young or something. But for me, who's still searching and you feel kind of lost because of it, this book is spot on, spot on. Now, of course, since this is a romance, there is another guy in this town that we're kind of seeing Elsie with, you know, like when she got into town, he was the first person she saw. He owns a bookstore, he's attractive, and he's one of the only people in town that isn't in a relationship. And she doesn't remember him from the book series, so something strange is going on there. But being in this town is so much fun. It's called Aloriton, and it's just so cute. It's so small. There's like 200 people in this town. You have the bar, you have the cafe, you have the candy store, you have the auto mechanic, and then there's a whole bunch of other cute little shops. But it's interesting because only what the author has written is in this town. So like when she goes to the cafe to look at the menu, some of it's kind of fuzzy because not the complete menu wasn't written. And the sad thing is this author can no longer write the next book in the series, so it just kind of feels like this town is a little unfinished, and she's wondering if she's going to have to figure out where this town goes and the ending of the series. Oh my gosh, it's just so good. It's so good. Why am I surprised? I love Ashley Poston so much. This one, it does feel a little lighter than her other books, and I'm enjoying it. There was also a little Easter egg from the 7-year slip in here, Chef's Kiss. Also, I am annotating it, so I have some little tabby tabs in there. But like I said, I am halfway through, so I'm going to sit down and read the rest of this morning, and I'm going to finish it so quickly because I physically had to force myself to stop last night because I was like, no, I can't go past halfway because I have to update y'all. So here's the update, and now I can finally finish it. Everybody say it with me. 5 stars. Once again, Ashley Poston has looked into my soul and put it into words. Like, she explains me better than I can explain myself, and she teaches me so much about myself through her words, and I'm just so thankful and forever grateful for that. This book was just so cute, and it wasn't even my favorite romance out of all of her books, and I still loved it and was so attached to all of the characters, and I honestly feel like I left a little piece of myself with these characters in between the pages, and I just loved it so much. The town was so cute, all the characters we met, the way that she described words and books and stories resonated with me so hard. I loved it so much. This book also is the song Right Where You Left Me by Taylor Swift. That song and this book are the same, and I have been listening to that song on repeat because it is exactly where I'm at in my life right now, and this book is exactly where I'm at in my life right now. So I feel like Ashley Poston's books just come out at the exact time that I need them, and it's just perfect every single time, and I'm just so forever grateful. And in fact, at the end here in her acknowledgements, she thanks her favorite author for basically changing her life, and so at the end there I wrote a little letter to her, and it was just like so special. And I have met her before several years ago, way before any of these books came out, so I would really love to meet her again and just kind of reiterate how she's changed my life, and she has helped me view myself in a completely different way, and I absolutely adore her for it. So 5 stars, and I'm just like giddy and happy and like emotional, and I love it. 5 stars. This one definitely lived up to it for me. And we got to see, I told you the little Easter eggs about the 7-year slip, but there is also Dead Romantics Easter eggs, and it was just so good. Okay, so again, 5 stars, which means I have one more book to read for my anticipated releases, which is Not in Love. So I think this is just going to be a nice, fun time. Ashley Poston, I look for like emotional therapy. This one, I look for like, yes, that one's so spicy and so good. So hopefully I love this one. I honestly, again, still am not sure what it's about, and I also have not seen great things about this one, but I also didn't see great things about this one. So I don't know. Hopefully this one will also be 5 stars. I will probably start it later today because it's just about 1 p.m. so I have a lot of time, and I am in such a reading mood right now, so I'll probably start it later today, but I will update you probably, I'm gonna say 100 pages in, but that didn't happen with this one, so maybe 100 pages in, but I'll see you later once I've started it. Alright, right off the bat, in Not in Love, I haven't even started reading it yet, but there is an author's note right at the beginning where Allie is talking about how this is different than her other books. Think less rom-com and more erotic romance. No, no thank you. Already, I can tell you this is not going to be a 5 stars, and I'm really scared going into it because I think it's just going to be all about lust and not emotional connection, and that is not my book. That is not for me. So Not in Love might be not for me, but I'm still going to read it and I'll let you know. But now, already, I'm understanding the bad reviews, and I'm scared. Okay, so I'm not 100 pages in, but I am 130 pages in. So a little bit of a fib on my part, but are we surprised that I didn't check in when I said I was going to? No. So before I tell you about this book, first of all, look at this edition. This is the independent bookstore edition, so like the cover is shiny, but it also has this art print in it. So each edition I think has a different art print, and this is the one that's in this one, and it's a little dog, but it also came with an overlay, which is in here somewhere. There it is. So it came with like this overlay of the couple. So, comes with a lot of things, and I also did pre-order a signed edition, and I did ask her to draw a little doggy in it, so you could see the little dog, so cute. But, 130 pages in. So this book, we follow Eli and Rue. Now, Rue is kind of like this food scientist. I'm not exactly sure what she does, but she's a food scientist. She works for this company, and Eli is this businessman that is trying to take over Rue's company. So obviously Rue's company hates Eli and his people because they're trying to take over and like basically infiltrate, and I really don't understand all of the business talk. There's so much business talk in here and it goes over my head. I do not understand it. Usually in Allie Hazelwood's books, when she's talking about like scientist things, it's easy to understand, or I'm interested in it because of the way she explains it, because let me tell you, I am not a STEM girl, I am not a science girl, I am like the furthest thing from it. So usually I enjoy that in her books because it's a topic that I don't know a lot about and I like learning about it, but in this case, there is so much of it and it is so boring and it just goes over my head. I don't understand. Anytime they're talking about business, I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about, and then they'll try to explain it and I still don't understand the explanation. So I'm like, I'm not here for business. I'm not a business girly. I don't have a business degree. I've never been interested in that. So I don't want to know about your business. I don't care who's taking over who. Now on the other side of things, Eli and Rue, because they're like basically enemies in this business, they're not supposed to have a relationship, and Rue doesn't like relationships anyway. She's like a no strings attached kind of girl, and I am like a whole ball of yarn kind of girl, you know? So I don't like Rue. I really don't like her. She basically has an app where she will just find guys and sleep around, and that's not my vibe. That's not my vibe at all. And so her and Eli decide to kind of start this secret no strings attached relationship thing where they basically just sleep together. Can you tell from this description this is not me? Like it's like everything I don't enjoy in a book. So I think I'm hating this, but I'm still gonna continue because Ali Hazelwood is one of my favorite authors, so I want to read all of her books. But I told you pretty immediately in the author's note when she said this isn't like a rom-com that I knew I was probably gonna hate it, and I really did not want to pick it back up this morning because I was like, I'm kind of hating this and I don't like Rue. Eli's okay, he's like completely obsessed with Rue, which is kind of cute, but she is just not it for me. She's just not it for me. And I'm trying to be nice because I know there's gonna be people out there that are like, oh, I relate so hard to her. And I'm just like, well then, maybe we shouldn't be friends. But I just don't like her. I don't like the no strings attached thing. I am not that kind of person. I am a very like emotional connection relationship type of person, and that's just not what we're getting in here. And it's so sad because in all of most of Ali Hazelwood's other books, there is that strong emotional connection between the two characters, and I'm just really nervous about the future of Ali's books because like the last three I haven't really enjoyed. This one, Bride, and Check and Mate. I haven't really enjoyed her last few books, so I'm scared, but I am gonna finish this and I will update you later, and I'm just already ready for it to be done, and I'm only 130 pages in. We have had our first spicy scene, which was okay, but I feel like Rue's just kind of killing the mood. Like, read the room. And she's really killing the vibe for me. But yeah, I am ready to be done, which is sad. I really should have read this before in All a Love Story, because how is this ever supposed to compare to that? It can't. It just can't. First of all, I painted my nails, and like, look how well they match this cover. Stunning. Anyway, you know what's not stunning? This book. But I am on page 250, and I'm not like straight up hating it like I was feeling at the beginning. I don't think it's gonna be above a 2 stars, but I don't think at this point it's gonna be a 1 star. So it might be a 2 star, but I still have like over 100 pages left to go because this book is like kind of big actually. It's like 380 pages around there. And the relationship still just like isn't a relationship because it's all about lust, and I hate that so much. Like, Ali, what are you doing? Where is your connection with your characters? Because it's not here. I don't know where it is. And like, I do feel bad that I hate this character so much. The main girl, Rue, I just don't like her. And every time she's on page, I'm just like, what does Eli see in you? Because he's obsessed and I just don't see it. Like, what does he see in you? And this is heading into a territory in the bedroom that I don't enjoy reading about. So I'm scared it's just gonna like progress further and further and further. And so this is very different than Ali Hazelwood's other books because there's no emotional connection, and then like she said at the beginning, less rom-com, more erotic romance, which is just not my thing at all. And if that's your thing, cool. We all have our different things, and this is not mine. So I'm kind of scared how this is gonna end up, but I have about this much left. I don't know if I'll finish today. I might not. It reads quickly. That's the thing, is like I'm not gonna DNF because it reads so fast, so quickly. Yeah, I just don't know. It's so weird because I'm like, how did I go from being obsessed with her books, like she was one of my favorite authors of all time, to now I'm just like, I don't know if I can consider her that anymore because I haven't liked her last few books, which is so sad. I still recommend her, but I only recommend her early books, not her recent books, which I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not, but that's where I stand right now. So I'll update you. Actually, the next time I see you will be when I finish this book. So see you then. I can't believe I read 300 pages of this book today, but I just finished Not in Love, and I was right. This is a 2 star. I'm settling with 2 stars. This is Ali Hazelwood's worst book, and I'm really nervous for the future of her books because they've just been going downhill lately, and I really miss the old Ali Hazelwood. So I hope she brings that back around because this was very different from what she usually writes. and it was just not it for me. Like I said, it might be it for you if you are into lust relationships and not like actual relationships, then this might be for you. No judgment. All books are for different people, but 2 stars for that one. But for the most part, this reading vlog was actually really successful because I started with Middle of the Night, and although it's not my new favorite Riley Sager, I still really enjoyed it. And then a novel love story, one of my favorite books of the year. I'm so excited. 5 stars, so great. And then ended with Not in Love. Not in love with that book, let me just tell you that. But if you have made it this far in the video, go ahead and leave the B emoji, because if you've read a novel love story, then you'll understand. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, all my social media links will be down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!